Hello, good morning. Welcome to our daily news roundup on Atlantic TV. I am Kichi Tejuri. Here are our top stories. Federal government orders NCAA to name and shame airlines over flight disruptions. IGP appoints ACP Dolapo Badmus as Nigeria police rep to UN. Tinubu, Farahimi are my leaders, not El Rufai, says government. 70,000 naira minimum wage no longer enough, says NLC. South Africa becomes UAE's second largest non-oil trade partner in Africa. 17 nations book sports for 2026 FIFA World Cup. Now to the news in full. The federal government has ordered a crackdown on airlines frustrating passengers with unnecessary flight disruptions. The Nigerian Civil Aviation Authority (NCAA) says it will begin to publicly name and shame airing airlines following fresh directives from the federal government. Director of Public Affairs and Consumer Protection, Michael Achimogo, said the NCAA would no longer tolerate situations where airline staff abandon passengers and leave officials to manage chaos. Achimogo warned that the authority will apply the fullest sanctions possible for avoidable infractions, insisting that operators must comply with regulations whenever disruptions occur. He stressed that the naming and shaming of airlines begins immediately to protect passengers' rights and restore confidence in Nigeria's aviation sector. The Inspector General of Police, IGP Kayode Egbetokun, has approved the appointment of Assistant Commissioner of Police Dolapo Badmus as the Nigerian Police Force representative to the United Nations headquarters in New York. According to the force headquarters, the appointment is part of ongoing efforts to strengthen Nigeria's role in international law enforcement and global security affairs. ACP Badmus previously served as Assistant Commissioner of Police and Federal Operations at the Department of Force Intelligence, Abuja. She is also widely recognized for her professionalism during her time as Police Public Relations Officer in Lagos State Command and Zone 2 Command. Her deployment to the UN is seen as a major boost for Nigeria's image in global policing, with expectations that she will deepen international cooperation and strengthen security diplomacy. Fuel scarcity is set to bite hard in Delta State as the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association of Nigeria (IPMAN) and the Nigerian Union of Petroleum and Natural Gas Workers (NUPENG) have declared an indefinite strike that began on Monday, September 8, 2025. At an emergency meeting over the weekend, both unions resolved to shut down all filling stations across the state. There were warnings that any station that defies the order will be fined 1 million naira. The unions circulated a notice declaring injury to one is injury to all, insisting that solidarity was key to defending the interest of their members. The strike, expected to ground fuel supply in Delta, may spread to other South-South states as petroleum marketers often act in solidarity during such industrial actions. Governor Uba Sani of Kaduna State has distanced himself from claims by his predecessor, Malam Nasir El-Rufai, that he is one of his mentees. Instead, Governor Sani says his political leaders remain President Bola Tinubu and the late Chief Gani Fawahimi. El-Rufai, in a recent television appearance, boasted of mentoring Sani and many others. But the Kaduna State governor, speaking in an interview on Sunday, said he has no time for such exchanges, stressing his focus is on governance. Governor Sani recounted meeting Tinubu in 1994 at the home of Beko Ransom Kuti and living with Fawahimi during years of struggle, describing them as the figures who truly shaped his political journey. While Sani once served as El-Rufai's political advisor, he insists he will not be distracted by personal remarks, adding that his administration's focus remains on the people of Kaduna State. You're watching our daily news roundup. We'll go for a short break. More news stories on the business front when we return.
Don't miss out on exciting news, events, and more. Stay connected by following us on Facebook, YouTube, and Instagram at Atlantic Media and TV.
Welcome back. The All Progressives Congress (APC) in Lagos State has hailed China's decision to accept the Nigerian naira for trade transactions, describing it as a landmark development and a major step towards Nigeria's economic recovery under President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. Party spokesperson Sheye Oladejo, in a statement on Monday, said the move will ease Nigeria's over-reliance on the US dollar, reduce pressure on foreign exchange, and strengthen the naira. He explained that businesses, importers, and manufacturers will benefit from lower costs and faster payments in trade with China. Oladejo added that the breakthrough will make imports of essential goods and machinery cheaper, while also opening up the vast Chinese market for Nigerian exports. He said the policy will boost investor confidence and encourage local producers to scale up, knowing their goods can now reach one of the world's largest consumer markets. The APC congratulated President Tinubu, the central bank, and the Ministry of Finance, urging stakeholders to maximize the gains of what it called a visionary economic milestone. The Nigerian Labour Congress (NLC) has raised alarm that the current 70,000 naira minimum wage is no longer sustainable in the face of rising inflation, high food prices, costly transportation, and skyrocketing housing. Acting General Secretary of the NLC, Benson Upa, told the news agency of Nigeria that Nigerian workers are struggling to survive under the present economic situation, warning that unless urgent action is taken, the crisis of survival will only worsen. The NLC noted that though President Tinubu signed the 70,000 naira wage into law in July 2024, several states have already reviewed salaries above the federal benchmark. Imo State recently raised its minimum wage to 104,000 naira, while Lagos, Rivers, Bayelsa, Niger, Enugu, Akwa Ibom, Ogun, Delta, Benue, Osun, and Ondo states have implemented higher wage structures ranging between 73,000 naira and 100,000 naira. Labour leaders insist the federal government must urgently review the wage again, while states should continue adjusting salaries in line with economic realities to prevent workers from sliding deeper into poverty. On the foreign scene, the South Africa has emerged as the United Arab Emirates' second largest non-oil trade partner in Africa, with bilateral trade hitting new highs. The UAE Minister of Foreign Trade, Thani bin Ahmed Al Zayudi, met with members of the South African Business Council in Dubai to explore fresh opportunities for trade, investment, and private sector cooperation. According to Emirates' new agency, non-oil trade between both nations reached $8.5 billion dollars in 2024, a 14% increase from the previous year and up 120% since 2019. In just the first half of 2025, trade stood at $3.93 billion dollars. With over 3,600 South African companies already operating in the Emirates, talks focused on deepening collaboration in food security, logistics, infrastructure, tourism, and renewable energy to drive sustainable growth. US President Donald Trump has vowed to impose fresh sanctions on Russia following Moscow's largest aerial assault on Ukraine since the war began. Russian missiles and drones pounded Kyiv and other cities early on Sunday, killing at least 4 people and setting government offices ablaze. President Trump told reporters he was not happy with the whole situation, while Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky urged for a strong US response, warning that Vladimir Putin was testing the world. Russia, however, insists it targeted only military facilities, denying strikes on civilians. Sunday's attack marks the first time Ukraine's cabinet offices in central Kyiv have been hit in the 3.5-year conflict. Away from the foreign scene now to sports news, 17 nations have now officially secured qualification for the 2026 FIFA World Cup, football's most prestigious tournament. The three host nations, United States, Mexico, and Canada, are guaranteed places, marking the first ever World Cup jointly hosted across three countries. From Asia, Japan, Iran, Jordan, South Korea, Uzbekistan, and Australia have booked their spots. New Zealand emerged victorious from Oceania. South America will be strongly represented with Argentina, Brazil, Uruguay, Paraguay, Ecuador, and Colombia, all sealing qualification. Morocco leads Africa as the first CAF nation to qualify. The qualification journey continues in Europe and Africa as fans worldwide count down to the expanded 48-team tournament in 2026. South African striker Lai Forster says the pressure is on the Super Eagles of Nigeria ahead of their make-or-break 2026 FIFA World Cup qualifier in Bloemfontein on Tuesday. The Burnley forward told Sowetan Live that South Africa are exactly where they want to be in Group C, stressing that the real pressure lies with teams chasing them, including Nigeria. Foster said the team must remain humble, take each game step by step, and ensure qualification is sealed for next summer's showpiece in North America. South Africa currently tops the group with 16 points, followed by Benin Republic on 11, while Nigeria sits third with 10 points. Rwanda, Lesotho, and Zimbabwe occupy the bottom three spots. And with our sports news, we come to the end of our daily news roundup for today, right here on Atlantic TV. Do also follow us on all our social media platforms for more news stories and updates. Thank you so much for watching. I am Nkechi Tejeri. Have a pleasant day.